the Dominion is planning a sneak attack on the Romulan Empire at this very moment. I want proof.
And with the Cardassian fourth order protecting their flank, the 23rd Jum'Hadar Division will begin its thrust across the Glentora sector. They should begin the invasion of Romulus on the following day. Once we've taken the whole world, organized resistance will crumble when outlying systems and colonies begin looking out for themselves. Consolidation of the entire empire will take 3 months at most.
What if the Romulan fleet reacts faster than you're anticipating? What if they pull all of their forces away from the Federation border at the first sign of our attack?
I place my faith in the Founders. They say the Romulans are not ready for war and will not react fast enough once it begins. Now, do you wish to dispute their judgment?
No, of course not. I serve the Founders.
As do we all. Meeting adjourned.
I'd like to examine that data run. So all I could do was wait and see how masterful Tolar's forgery really was. So I waited. Tried to catch up on my paperwork. But I found it very difficult to focus on criminal activity reports, cargo manifests. So I went back to pacing, staring out of the window. I'm not an impatient man. I'm not one to agonize over decisions once they're made. I got that from my father. He always says, worry and doubt are the greatest enemies of a great chef. The souffle will either rise or it won't. There's not a damn thing you can do about it, so you might as well just sit back and wait and see what happens. But this time, the cost of failure was so high. I found it difficult to take his advice. If Vreenek discovered that the data rod was a forgery, if he realized that we were trying to trick them into the war, it could push the Romulans even farther into the enemy camp. They could start to openly help the Dominion. If worse came to worst, they could actually join the war against us. I had the distinct feeling that victory or defeat would be decided in the next few minutes. Shuttle and headed home. There didn't seem to be anything more to do. So I went back to work. 2 days later, I got the news.
Natalia, wounded in action.
Friend?
Friend of a friend. Actually only met her once. I don't think she'd remember me.
Friend of a friend between the two of us. Well, I know it sounds a bit strange, but I'd say we're off to a pretty good start today.
Captain, we just received word from Starfleet Intelligence that a Romulan shuttlecraft carrying a high-ranking senator has just been destroyed.
Which senator?
Senator Brenak. He was returning to Romulus from a diplomatic mission to Sakara when his shuttle exploded. The Tal Shiar are investigating, but preliminary reports point to sabotage. They believe that the Dominion is responsible.
The Dominion assassinated a Romulan senator.
On a diplomatic mission.
That changes everything. It could even bring the Romulans into the war.
Excuse me.
That's what you planned to do all along, isn't it? You knew the data rod wouldn't hold up to scrutiny. You just wanted to get him on the station so that you could plant a bomb on his shuttle.
It wasn't quite that simple. I did have hopes that the rod would somehow pass inspection, but I suspected that Tolar may not have been up to the task.
And what about Tolar? Did you kill him too?
Think of them both as tragic victims of war. If you can allow your anger to subside for a moment, you'll see that they did not die in vain. The Romulans will enter the war.
There's no guarantee of that.
Oh, but I think that there is. You see, when the Tal Shiar finishes examining the wreckage of Brenak's shuttle, they'll find the burnt remnants of a Cardassian optolithic data rod which somehow miraculously survived the explosion. After painstaking forensic examination, they'll discover that the rod contains a recording of a high-level Dominion meeting at which the invasion of Romulus was being planned.
And then they'll discover that it is a fraud.
Oh, I don't think they will. Because any imperfections in the forgery will appear to be a result of the explosion. So, with a seemingly legitimate rod in one hand and a dead senator in the other, I ask you, Captain, what conclusion would you draw?
That Brenak obtained the rod on Sakara, and that the Dominion killed him to prevent him from returning to Romulus with it.
Precisely. And the more the Dominion protests its innocence, the more the Romulans will believe they're guilty, because it's exactly what the Romulans would have done in their place. That's why you came to me, isn't it, Captain? Because you knew I could do those things that you weren't capable of doing. Well, it worked. And you'll get what you want. A war between the Romulans and the Dominion. And if your conscience is bothering you, you should soothe it with the knowledge that you may have just saved the entire Alpha Quadrant, and all it cost was the life of one Romulan senator, one criminal, and the self-respect of one Starfleet officer. I don't know about you, but I'd call that a bargain.
At 0800 hours, station time, the Romulan Empire formally declared war against the Dominion. They've already struck 15 bases along the Cardassian border.
So, this is a huge victory for the good guys. This may even be the turning point of the entire war. There is even a welcome to the fight party tonight in the wardroom. So,
I lied. I cheated.